Chalo. So now credit risk, we are going to start with this particular one. Yesterday only we generally talk around these particular one. Okay. So when it comes to the credit risk, it is also known as obligor risk, where basically we are like these are like NPAs or any default made by the borrowers. So they are generally related to that particular one. Okay. So it is defined as potential of bank borrowers or counterparty fail to meet its obligation in accordance with the agreed terms. Okay. Mostly we have so many important aspect in this particular one, especially the type of risk, alarm, आपका alarm which we have already discussed with ABM also, okay, and the different type of credit risk and all, they generally comes under this particular one, right? So when it comes to the credit risk, we have this further bifurcation. One is portfolio risk, another one is transaction risk. As an institute or as a bank, we have to manage like both type of risks simultaneously. Like, let's say if we are entering into a transaction, we are giving loan to some new customers, so we have to manage the overall risk as well as the portfolio level. Okay, so what will be the risk probability with that adding that new customer in our portfolio? So we have to account that particular one, and for each and everything we have exposure limits and all. In case of portfolio, we have concentration risk and systemic risk. When it comes to the concentration risk, it is something like this. Let's say our portfolio or our asset creation is something like this. Let's assume this is IT industry. Okay, we have given bank A, they have given maximum loan to IT industry. Now, if something happened bad with this particular industry, our bank is going to face a huge losses. So that is the concentration risk. And to deal with these kind of areas or risk, we generally go for the आपका diversifications. ठीक है, so diversification in our assets, that is generally through that particular one we can manage this particular area. Systematic, then we have systematic risk. Systematic risk is something which is non-controllable in nature. I hope you know the basic bifurcation of risk: systematic and unsystematic. Unsystematic, which is controllable in nature and which is related to individual or which is with the like with bank allocation or with the suitable policies and all, we can control. But आपका systematic is basically non-diversifiable. It is basically also known as inherent risk आपका after what we can say sometime the broader issues like global financial crisis, COVID-19, or the Great Depression eras and all. Okay. So where we do not have any influences, there is a bigger problem in the economy or in the world economy due to those particular one. Transaction basis, we have default risk, obligor risk, insolvency by the or like where the borrowers won't be able to meet their requirements, and downgrade risk. When it comes to the downgrade risk, it is something, it happened with so many portfolios. Let's say we have given loan to XYZ company. We have given loan to XYZ company. Let's say 50 crore rupees for 10 years. Okay? This loan is, the tenure is 10 years. So at the time when we sanction this loan, the credit worthiness or the overall credit score of this ratings of this particular company was very good. But due to, after 2 years, what happened? After 2 years, there is like, let's say there is a business risk or there is a financial risk in which this company XYZ deal. So there is a some let's say there are some economy wise problem or their product become outdated and all, and due to there is some weakness in the health of or financial health of this XYZ limited, right? So after 2 years, that means after 2 years, let's say earlier the score was triple A, now it came down after 2 years आपका triple B plus. So now that means the risk, the default probability is getting increased. So these type of risks are also known as downgraded risk, which we generally monitor through the alarm mechanism. Okay? So loan review mechanism, through that only we generally maintain these particular one. Okay? Rajiv sir is very good evening sir. Whether I'll get, I have already uploaded all these PDFs on the app itself. Okay? So you can check with that particular one. If you are still facing some issues, sir, no worries. Module A and A I have already shared in the Telegram group itself. But see what problem we face in Telegram now. Let's say you are watching this session for the very first time. then I'll upload that PDF. After 2 days, someone else will join. Then they'll ask for the same things. But application, you'll get, apart from that mock test and other things, the old PDFs are also there. They are again, the content is static, so they are also going to help you out. Rajiv sir, for your concern, I hope this is clear to all of you guys, because this is going to help you in your coming areas. Now, credit risk management. So when it comes to the credit risk management, again, whenever it comes to the risk management, we do have this particular procedure. Identification, what type of credit risk we are going to face in near future. So this is the very one thing. Then measurement. Measurement is something quantifying the losses. Let's say we are going to these are some portfolios, or these are some assets where we see some sort of weaknesses, or their financial health is coming down. That means these are the areas, uncertainties, where we can make some sort of losses. If actually that contingency occur, or that uncertainty become reality, so how much losses we are going to face due to default by these borrowers. So that is your measurement, quantifying the losses. Mitigation is, sorry, monitoring and control. We do have like alarm system, or the credit audits, or else we have so many like we have internal approach आपका, ठीक है, to deal with these kind of risk and all, ठीक है. So with that we generally do this particular things, ठीक है. Then mitigation is the final one, when actually that particular uncertainty happen, and we execute our mitigation plan, or that securitization in everything that generally comes under this particular one, ठीक है. So this is the entire one. So these are the same 4 stages which are also part of your credit risk management. When it comes to the organization, again we have the same things. I hope you guys now can relate these particular one. Board of Directors, Risk Management Committee, Credit Risk Management Committee, Credit Risk Management Department. So this is the overall organizational structure for the credit risk management. If you guys having any doubt around this particular one, please do let me know in the comment section, so I can help you out with those particular one. Okay? So we have discussed all these particular one in detail. That's why when we discuss that entire introduction wala part na, so we have discussed these particular one in detail. So now if you'll have a quick reading around these particular one, you will easily able to relate these particular things for your coming things. Okay. So risk management committee responsibility during the credit risk management. Okay. So setting guidelines for the credit risk management. In case of market risk, it was आपका setting guidelines for market risk. In case of the coming one is operational risk, it will be operational risk management and reporting आपका. Ensuring credit risk management process, confirm the policy, setting up prudential limits and periodical reviews, ensuring measurement of risk model, ensuring proper manning for the process management. Same things you will get repeated आपका, right? Then we have credit risk management committee, or it is also known as credit policy committee, or credit risk management committee. So they, like, I hope you guys remember that structure. So risk management committee, they generally weightify the overall risk. Okay? Like we have this is suppose that credit risk, credit weight of credit risk. Let's say this is market risk, this is operational risk, and this is liquidity risk. Okay? So now under risk management committee, we have credit risk management committee. So, and under which we have some subgroups and departments, right? So actually this team is working around the credit risk management things and all, and where we have one profile that is known as chief risk officer, right? So that is mandated, which was mandated by the RBI itself. So credit risk management department, which independent of the credit administration department, enforce and monitors compliances of the risk parameter and prudential limit set by the credit policy committee or our credit risk management committee. So when it comes to the credit risk management department now, there is one team. They are also part of that particular team. Okay? That team is generally known as, I just missed that name, it will come for sure. So when it comes to the credit risk, aapka, type of credit risk, we have a default risk basically. So default risk when potential failure of borrowers to make promised payments either partly or wholly. That means when our asset become non-performing. Credit spread risk aapka, when it comes to the credit spread risk aapka, borrower does not default, there is still risk due to worsening in the credit ratings आपका, that downgrade risk. I hope you remember that one. ठीक है. So this is आपका credit spread risk is आपका where the as I gave you an example of XYZ Limited, so their credit rating is declining from triple A to triple B plus. So now the loss probability, or sorry, the default probability is getting increased. So there is a chance of default, right? So though we are getting the regular payments on time, but still we have 8 years of time span which is remaining. So there is a probability of default. Okay? So there is still risk due to worsening in credit quality. This result in the possible widening of the credit spread. Usually this is reflected through the rating downgrade and normally firm specific and all. Correct? Hai? Chalo. So we have two type of systematic or intrinsic risk and risk concentration risk आपका, ठीक है, concentration risk. Everyone know around these two आपका, ये clear है सबको, ठीक है. So when it comes to systematic risk, non-controllable in nature, they have a broader impact. Again. So unsystematic, systematic, unsystematic, controllable in nature, diversifiable in nature. When it comes to systematic, these are basically आपका non-diversifiable in nature. ठीक है, they have a broader impact. And sometimes they also called आपका intrinsic risk. Intrinsic risk is something, let's say we have some assets or we have some portfolios. In those portfolio we have done the mitigation also. After mitigation as well, there is a probability of default. Let's say we have given loan to that XYZ company, 50 crore rupees, and we securitize that particular one with 70% or 80%. So 20% or the 30% is still in risk आपका, ठीक है. Let's say we have entered into some other agreements आपका, ठीक है. After that also there is something which we won't be able to diversify that particular risk. Okay? So after using every tool to mitigate that particular risk, there is some inherent risk which we can't diversify. So that is something related to intrinsic risk. Okay? That is like they are kind of that amount is kind of impossible to diversify through any product. So that is generally comes under this. Concentration risk आपका, where when we create assets on a same portfolio and all, or same sectors and all, that generally comes under this particular one. Correct? So systematic or intrinsic risk, portfolio risk can be reduced through diversification. If portfolio is fully diversified across geography, industry, borrowers, market equitably, then the portfolio risk is reduced to a minimum level. That minimum level is generally known as your intrinsic risk. Okay? The minimum level corresponding to the risk in the economy which it is operating, this is generally known as systematic and or it is also called your intrinsic risk. Okay? Santosh sir, very good evening. Very good evening to all of you guys. Concentration risk आपका, the portfolio is not diversified. That is to say say that it is high weight in respect of borrowers or geography or industry. As I gave you an example of IT industry, our bank put maximum asset from the IT industry. If something happened bad to the IT industry, we are going to make a huge loss. So that generally comes under this one. So these two risks are again important one. Now credit ratings. This we have discussed earlier also. So we'll not we'll quickly go through these particular one. So credit rating deficit, the credit quality of the borrowers, and deficit his default. A credit rating process normally would consist the following parameters, like we have financial parameters, we have management parameters, industry parameters, or business parameters. Okay, let's say that XYZ company. So if any credit rating agency who is going to rate this particular institution, they'll rate that particular institution in by the different dimensions. Like it is आपका, first we will check the financial parameters based on their balance sheet and profit and loss account and all. Management parameters, their board of directors and all. Industry wise, in which industry this company belongs and how that industry is doing and what is the potential of that particular industry. And business parameters. Business is similar to that one. It is something आपका, how they are generating, what is the market shares and the customer base and all that we are analyzing through this particular. So whenever a credit rating, when they provide their ratings to the industries or companies, they generally do on the basis of these broader parameters, right? Credit risk control and monitoring. So this is, we have MIS system, we have LRM, and we have some other tool also. Again. So to an elaborate and well communicated policy at transaction level that articulate guidelines for risk taking procedures, guidelines and effective monitoring system is necessary. So we have, it must have been mentioned here that the appropriate risk information system is the basic prerequisite for the effective control and monitoring. A comprehensive and detailed MIS system and CIS credit information system is backbone for the effective CRM system or credit risk management system. Okay? So here we have so many things like we have credit appraisal process that we have discussed in your ABM module B, C itself in detail. Hope you guys remember this one. So this is the very first one. Second one is risk analysis process. Basically credit appraisal process. I hope you guys remember that particular one. See, here we have so many areas like for the term loans or for the industrial project appraisals and all, where we have 8 different dimension. In the last one was the commercial appraisal and all, so that really comes under this one. Okay? Basically we are checking the solvency of that particular project. It is going to generate how it is going to generate cash flows for the business and all. So if they'll how long it will take to generate that cash flows and all, so how they can make the payments toward the EMIs and all. Okay? And risk analysis process आपका credit audits and loan review mechanism and monitoring process. Okay? These are the major ways which are generally part of this particular one. Okay? So policies, credit taking policy and guidelines at transaction levels be clearly articulated in the bank loan policy documents approved by the board. Standards and guidelines should be in order to आपका delegation of powers. ठीक है, ऐसे होता है ना, like branch manager, they have a different powers, and a person associate or a regional head, they have a different power. ठीक है, power credit appraisals आपका, ठीक है, power toward the credit appraisals, standard rating and benchmarks, pricing strategy and loan review mechanism. So that generally comes under this particular one. Credit approving authority. This is very important when that department. I was talking about that particular terms na, credit risk management department. So they are generally part of this particular team also. Okay? Let's say we have a approval grid. That approval grid consists 3 to 4% and at least 1% from credit risk management department. See, because sometimes like we do have some loan targets and all. Sometimes we can become biased because we do have some sort of targets and all. But that person who belongs to the आपका credit risk management department, they do not have any target, right? So like we need agreements from all the members which are generally part of that particular approval grids. So which is generally known for this one. Okay? So basically this is a team who is going to sanction the overall ACA loans and all, and they are going to approve those whatever assets we are creating for the bank itself. Okay? Very important one. So each bank should have carefully formulated scheme of delegations of powers. Scheme of delegation of power. The bank should also evolve multi-layer credit approving system where loan proposals are approved by approval grids. Approval grid, or which is also known as approval committee. The grid or committee comprising 3 to 4 officers may approve the credit facility above the specified limit, and invariably one officer should represent the credit risk management department who has no volume or profit targets for their branch. This is the major reason why we are keeping this person in part of this approval grid, because he won't do any sort of biased decision and all. Or nahi hone denge aapka. That's why we are keeping that person. LRM also, I hope everybody know about this one. Loan review mechanism, and it is mandatory above 5 crore rupees. And other also, we do 5 to 10% credits aapka, or the assets we simultaneously check, or we randomly check aapka around 5 to 10%, and we do analysis of the existing assets and all, right? So LRM, which is also known as credit audit, LRM is an effective tool for consistently evaluating the quality of loan book and bring about qualitative improvements in the credit administration. LRM is used for large value accounts with responsibilities assigned in various areas such as evaluating effectiveness of loan administration, maintaining the integrity of credit guidelines process, and assessing portfolio quality, etc. So these are generally part of this particular one. So basically, it is a credit audits which generally help banks. Like if we are finding some sort of weaknesses in the our loan portfolios, so we can have some sort of early remedial action. So we can prevent our banks, or we can protect our banks from like basically falling into any sort of trap and all. So ये सारी चीजें जिनके लिए काम करेगा. Promptly identify, very important one, guys. Promptly identify which develop credit weaknesses and initiate timely corrective action. Evaluate portfolio quality and isolate potential problems. To provide information for determining adequacy of loan losses. To assess the adequacy of adherence to and loan policies and procedures. And to monitor compliance with the relevant laws and regulations. To provide top management with information on credit administration, including your credit sanction process, risk evaluation, and post-sanction follow-up. So they generally comes under this particular one, right? Credit derivatives आपका, these are the another very emerging tools आपका, ठीक है? In India, we are just using these one, but worldwide we have more than 4 billion US dollar market, okay, for the credit derivatives. So credit derivative basically, without transferring the ownership of the asset, we are transferring the risk. Okay, like let's say, I hope you guys know around the credit default swap or the other different areas and all. Na? So what these instruments, they are helping us to basically, these are kind of an insurance to our existing loan. Okay? If we are sharing some sort of interest with the third party, which is protection seller in this particular case, and they are making some sort of commitment, if this borrower get default, so we will pay the remaining outstanding balance आपका, ठीक है? So that is credit default swap and credit derivatives, and they becoming day by day very famous, because let's say if we are earning from a loan 10 crore rupees interest during that 10-year tenures, if we are sharing 2 crore rupees or 3 crore rupees with some insurance company, still will have a strong portfolio size and all, right? So that is generally part of this particular one. All right, chalo. So for most bank, particularly Indian bank, the single largest source of earning and perhaps earning volatility is also accounted in the credit risk. The traditional means to protect this one was collaterals, securities and all. And a credit derivative is an over-the-counter bilateral contract between two or more counterparties that provide for transfer of risk in a credit asset or credit portfolio without necessarily transferring the underlying asset from book of originator. Okay? So basically, we are originator, we are protection buyer, and the other party who is making some sort of commitments and we are paying, they are protection seller, and we are paying some sort of premium, that is आपका like if any contingency happened with that particular asset, so they are going to make us payment about credit derivatives and all. Okay? Now there are some areas, motive for protection buyer like us, banks, Indian banks or our banks. Okay? Let's say we have given loan to that XYZ company 50 crore rupees. So now we have purchased one, like we entered into a swap agreement with some ABC Financials regarding the credit default swap. Okay? So if the ABC Financial is making some sort of promises, okay, if this company will default, we will pay you the outstanding balance, and for that sake we are paying them premium. So we are the protection buyer and ABC Financial is the protection seller in that particular case. Now, what are the benefit of the your protection buyer or our bank? Transferring credit risk without transferring the credit asset, hedging against credit risk, relief in regulatory capital required for credit assets, which can be used for further business purposes also, right? So better portfolio management by reducing concentration in market or diversifications and all. Okay? For the seller, they are earning the premium basically, ठीक है, yield encashment enhancement आपका speculation, they are doing some sort of speculation, if they believe that कि this organization is never going to default, that means they'll earn the premium during the period of that particular loan, so that they are doing that kind of business. Arbitrage in case of credit derivative instruments are inefficiently priced आपका, ठीक है, inefficiently priced means like it is something कि let's say there is a probability of default, but the default is something after 9 years, the 1 year period, and the outstanding balance during 1 year will be suppose that 1 crore, and the premium we are getting as of now, that is suppose that 7 crore 8 crores. Still, if that company make default, will have a win situation for the protection seller, okay? So that is something. Diversification of risk आपका, ठीक है, they can do this one. Credit derivative initially were used only for the hedging purpose or to minimize the risk. However, in the past few years, credit derivative are increasingly being used for the speculative purposes. Also, any other derivatives like interest rate, equity, and forex derivative. Like nowadays, these are getting traded as the other type of or other form of derivative also. Very, very important part, guys. So please do revise this and do remember this. Okay, this is definitely going to help you. So the users आपका basically the market makers for the credit derivatives. So users shall be classified by the market makers either as retail or non-retail. So retail आपका individual and all, and this is a list of non-retail person. ठीक है? For the purpose of offering credit derivative contract, so following users are classified as non-retail users. ठीक है? These all are the non-retail users. NBFC, आपका insurance, insurance companies registered under IRDA, pension companies under PFRDA, mutual fund under SEBI, alternative investment fund under SEBI, resident companies with minimum net worth of 500 crores and all, with their balance sheet. Foreign FPIs आपका registered with SEBI. So these are the non-retail companies, non-retails users. Apart from this, they are all are generally categorized as a retail users. Which of the following statement about the credit risk and management in banks are correct? Very easy question. I hope everybody will be able to answer this particular one. And yes, if everything is fine, yes, okay. Well, sir, very, very good evening. Yes, okay. Mupori, a very, very good evening to everyone, guys. Yes, you requested for the case study session itself. We'll be doing one session dedicated to case studies and the numericals. Just after the module D. Okay. So, yes, very first question, guys. Everyone, please quickly go through the question and try to answer this particular one. Now, you have to build that habit to read things and to participate in chat itself. So first question statement, a credit risk arises only when a borrower failed to repay a loan or interest in term of in term loan structure. Okay, so very first question आपका, ठीक है, so it is आपका what do you say about this particular statement? ठीक है, it is not limited to the borrowers. Nowadays we have guarantee work also, ठीक है, like LC and others, so there can be the involvement of credit risk, तो वहां पे भी हमारा credit risk हो सकता है, ठीक है, so I'll not go with this one, ठीक है. Non fund based facilities like guarantee or letter of credit can also expose bank to credit risk. True. Treasury transactions and cross-border exposure are example of credit risk, can be materialized. Yes. Then next one, आपका credit risk is managed centrally by head office and branch level involvement is minimal. आपका no. Branch level that is also, they generally frame the guidelines at top level, but majorly it is at the branch level. So we have to manage the transaction level, and transactions that generally happen at the branch level itself. Credit risk management involve identification, measurement, monitoring, control, and mitigation of this 100% truth. So 235. So 235 means option C should be right answer for this particular one. Correct? Yes, very good. Next one, guys. Which of the following statement regarding the organizational structure for credit risk management are correct? Very easy question again. And guys, I hope you guys are participating in the mock test also. Okay? So I have, please quickly attempt module A and module B. So मॉड्यूल ए और मॉड्यूल बी का मॉक टेस्ट इज लाइव, ऑलरेडी लाइव, ठीक है. एंड वी हैव module sorry the overall mock test also. So I'll be giving you three more mock. One is आपका module C. I have prepared that particular one. Only few question are remaining. Then module D आपका, और एक आपका एग्जाम मॉक, ठीक है, फुल लेंथ मॉक आपका जो मैं आपको कराऊंगा, ठीक है. So if you practice these particular one, they are definitely going to help you in your upcoming examination, ठीक है. तो क्या होगा दोस्तों आंसर आपका अगले क्वेश्चन का? The risk management committee, the risk management department, it is about the department, is responsible for setting prudential limits and directly approving credit proposals across branches. The board of director has responsibility to define aggregate credit risk limit, review mechanism, and capital planning. The risk management committee ensure credit risk processing aligned with policy, set prudential limits, and review risk models periodically. ठीक है. Credit policy committee, which is credit risk management committee, in involve loan pricing, setting credit exposure limit, and delegation of credit approving powers. Credit management requires skilled personnel, and bank may recruit directly from reputed institution for risk management role as per the HR policies and all. Okay? So what will be your correct answer? Only statement is wrong. Okay? When it comes to the entire structure, so we have first आपका board of directors, BODs. Then we have risk management committee. Then we have credit risk management committee. Then we have credit risk management departments. This is the structure. Basically, the entire responsibility belongs to the overall responsibility belongs to board of directors of the bank. तो ये जो स्टेटमेंट है ना, फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट, रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर सेटिंग प्रूडेंशियल लिमिट्स इन डायरेक्टली अप्रूविंग द क्रेडिट proposals across branches, this is wrong. Rest all seems correct. ठीक है. So that means your 2, 3, 4, 5 should be right answer for this particular one. Correct है? Yes. हाँ, ठीक है. So option B will be right answer for this particular question. Any doubt on this particular one? किसी का कोई डाउट भी होगा तो प्लीज आप अपने डाउट साइड बाय साइड लिखते जाइएगा, ठीक है. आई विल बी एड्रेसिंग दोस पर्टिकुलर क्वेरीज ऑल्सो. यस. हाँ, चलो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन गाइस. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऑन योर स्क्रीन. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऑन योर स्क्रीन, ठीक है. अगला क्वेश्चन आपका दिख रहा है, ये आपको स्क्रीन पे दिख रहा है, ठीक है. आई जस्ट चेक इन माय मोबाइल बिकॉज मोस्टली पीपल आर वाचिंग इन मोबाइल इटसेल्फ, ठीक है. यस. हाँ, थोड़ा सा जोर लगाना पड़ेगा आंखों में, ठीक है, बट इट इज विजिबल आई गेस. चलो. सो a leading Indian bank is assessing the risk profile of its credit portfolio. The bank has following exposures and observations. These are the exposure and observations. 500 crore rupees loan to an infrastructure conglomerate that has recently been downgraded from AA to triple B by a credit rating agency due to weakening in financing. This audio is coming na samay. ठीक है. And 250 crore loan to a textile exporter operating in Southeast Asia, where political unrest has begun affecting export earnings. A retail loan portfolio of 1,000 crores spread across salaried individuals in 15 Indian states and diversified across personal loan, home loan, and car loans. 400 crore rupees exposure to bond issued by a AAA rated automobile giant. Recently, bond spread have widened due to market uncertainty, although the issuer continue to perform well. 300 crore rupees derivative exposure to a counterparty in Europe, which has recently refused to settle due to a change in European Union sanctions rules. The bank internal risk team claimed that its capital allocation is too high for the retail portfolio and want to reduce it, applying diversification benefit. The bank considering expanding its credit book further in a single fast growing sector, digital lending, where it already has 1,800 crore rupees. They want to increase this particular one. So now the question is, which of the following statement are correct in the context of risk identification and management for the bank itself? Now what will be your right answer, guys? What will be your right answer for this particular one? Anyone? ओके सो यू डू नॉट हैव टू लूज योर पेशेंस. हाँ ठीक है, एक क्वेश्चन मिलेगा, 3-4 क्वेश्चन मिलेंगे, ठीक है, बेस्ड ऑन वन केस स्टडी यू विल गेट 3-4 क्वेश्चंस. सो यू हैव टू मेंटेन दिस पर्टिकुलर लेवल. इफ यू प्रैक्टिस दैट लेवल, एग्जामिनेशन में इशू आपका नहीं आएगा. सो फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट आपका, स्टेटमेंट ए, द conglomerates ratings downgrade increase credit risk spread, not default risk unless payment failures occur. First statement 100% true. There is no issue with this particular one. Again, the textile exporter situation introduce element of country risk because sanction imposed by the country as well as potential systemic risk. Okay? So 200 exporter Southeast where political unrest has become affecting the export. Okay? This statement is also correct. Widening of bond spread in absence of any deterioration in fundamentals may reflect market appetite and does not necessarily signal increased default risk. This is also correct here because the company's portfolio is fine. ठीक है, आपका रिटेल पोर्ट कहाँ गया, बॉन्ड्स वाला आपका, ठीक है, वाइडनिंग बॉन्ड्स वाला केसेस वेयर 250 crore loan to textile, 1000 crore spread across the salaried, no. 400 crore rupees to the bond issue AAA rated automobile giant. Recently bond spread have widened, that is something related to market, but the issuer continue to perform well. Okay, this is the one. The derivative exposure involve counterparty risk because the other party is not making the payment. Okay. Retail portfolio capital can be reduced. Retail portfolio capital can be reduced due to diversification across geographies and borrower type, provide risk corrections and risk correlations in appropriately modeled. आपका this is also correct. ये 400 they have given 1000 crore rupees in rate and this is very well diversified state wise और आपका the different groups wise. This is also correct. Again, expanding further in digital lending would reduce the concentration. This statement is wrong. We have already money in this particular area. आपका ठीक है, bond considering bank considering expanding its credit book further in a single fast growing. We already have concentration, digital lending, and which we already have 8,000 crore rupees in that particular one, and we are expanding that one, so that will increase the concentration risk on this particular one. So this statement is wrong. Portfolio level risk management must consider both systemic and diversification effect to avoid over or under estimating capital requirements. This is also correct. Any problem with any statement, please do let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7. That means option A only will be right answer for this particular one. Correct hai? Everyone guys, those who mark option B and C, if they have doubt related to any statement, प्लीज डू लेट मी नो, आई विल एक्सप्लेन दैट पर्टिकुलर वन. समझ में आया ये सबको आपका, ठीक है. तो एक क्वेश्चन आपका जो सारे टाइप ऑफ रिस्क आपके होते हैं क्रेडिट रिस्क के अंदर, वो सारे आपको जो यहाँ पे देखने के लिए मिलेंगे, ठीक है. सो आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू एवरीवन. यस, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Which of the following statement regarding credit risk measurement and credit ratings are correct? Very simple question. चलो बताओ, ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर आप लोगों को करना है. What will be your right answer, guys? So credit rating is primarily conducted to assess whether a borrower will continue to be performing assets and meet future financial obligations. Despite individual borrower behavior being unpredictable, aggregated default rate within a credit rating agency category tend to slow statistical consistency. True. Credit risk measurement focus only on expected, no, expected and unexpected both आपका, ठीक है. So option A will be right answer for this particular one. Very simple question. Next one. Which of the following statement correctly relate active credit portfolio management? Active credit portfolio management. So you have to find out the correct statement about this particular one. क्या होगा दोस्तों आंसर? एंड प्लीज डू पार्टिसिपेट इन मॉक टेस्ट ऑल्सो, ठीक है. देखो अगर जितना ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस करोगे आप लोग, दिस इज द टाइम, आपका जितना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, उतना ज़्यादा कीजिए। और अगर कोई हेल्प की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है सो यू कैन कनेक्ट मी ऑन टेलीग्राम, और एल्स यू कैन राइट मी ऑन एप्लीकेशन ऑल्सो, ठीक है। सो आई ट्राई माई बेस्ट टू हेल्प यू आउट विद दिस पर्टिकुलर वन। चलो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन आपका क्या होगा आंसर, व्हाट विल बी योर राइट आंसर फॉर दिस वन। इजी क्वेश्चन अगेन, ठीक है। So bank are increasingly turning to securitization, syndication, syndicated lending, and structured finance due to reduced demand for traditional credit product and the emergence of new market opportunities. There is no issue with this particular one. Active credit portfolio management require only financial capital and regulatory approvals with minimal emphasis on the infrastructure or human resources development. No, they are equally important. New tool such as credit derivatives, secondary loan trading have enabled bank to actively manage diverse type of credit risk. Yes, ठीक है. So 1 in 3 means आपका again option A will be right answer for this particular question. ठीक है, A आपका will be right answer for this one. Next one. About the alarm process आपका, ठीक है, alarm, this we have discussed in our ABM subject also, ठीक है. So very simple to answer, everyone quickly go through this one. So जहाँ पे if you are facing any difficulty please एक बार आप comments में लिख के बताइएगा, ठीक है. I'll try to help you out with that particular one. So LRM is a post-sanction activity focused only on verifying loan documentations in small value accounts. ठीक है, पहला statement ये कह रहा है आपका accurate and timely credit grading is a core element of effective LRM and must be independently reviewed. Loan review officers should report findings directly to branch manager to ensure prompt corrective actions about these particular one. Then at least 30 to 40% of portfolio above a cutoff limit should be reviewed annually under the LRM. The retail account with below average default performance are reviewed on an exception basis. So 5 to 10% basically that generally comes under this particular one. Okay? So what will be your correct answer for this one? क्या होगा correct answer? What will be your right answer, guys? So statement 1 is completely wrong. Okay, this is wrong आपका. It is not about the verifying documentations and all. It is the entire process and even the importance that generally comes after the sanctioning of loan. ठीक है, तो जो existing loan books हमारी हैं उनको हम यहाँ पे review करें. That's why it is also known as credit audit. ठीक है. So accurate and timely credit gradings, this help true. Loan review officers should report finding to branch managers. No, ठीक है, ये कहाँ पे होता है आपका? We have credit committee आपका, ठीक है, credit committee और आपका बोर्ड लेवल. ठीक है, सो क्रेडिट कमेटी और बोर्ड जहां पे ये जाना चाहिए रिपोर्ट आपका. ठीक है, सो 30-40% पोर्टफोलियो कट ऑफ शुड बी रिव्यूड. रिटेल लोन्स अकाउंट विद बिलो एवरेज डिफॉल्ट परफॉर्मेंस आर रिव्यूड ऑन एन एक्सेप्शन बेसिस. दिस इज ऑल्सो करेक्ट. ठीक है, सो 245 मीन्स आपका सारे आंसर ए है क्या? ठीक है, यस, हाँ, ठीक है. सो ए विल बी राइट आंसर फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर वन. ठीक है, डी आपका पीपल आर सिंग डी. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 is no. 3 is, see, this branch manager mostly what you will see कि when it comes to the आपका the review mechanism and all ना, so branch manager itself they involve in those kind of process and all. ठीक है, so it should be at higher level. Finding are to be reported directly to board or committee of the board, not to the branch manager, ensuring independence and proper oversight. So that is the right explanation for this particular one. So please do remember this one. ठीक है दोस्तों, आगे बढ़ते हैं. चलो next one. Which of the following statement correctly describe aspect of credit risk mitigation in bank? Credit risk mitigation aspect in banks. So what are the credit risk mitigation aspect in banks? क्या होगा आंसर? So at the transaction level, traditional CRM techniques include use of collateral such as first priority claim or third party guarantee. True. Credit risk mitigation at portfolio level is primarily achieved through techniques like asset securitization and credit derivatives, which help diversify and save portfolio characteristics. Okay. While CRM techniques reduce credit risk, they do not expose the bank to any new risk if applied correctly. ठीक है? So what you say about the statement 3 आपका, ठीक है? So this is like we have, it is not only about the credit risk, they also link with the operational liquidity and all other type of risk also. So this statement is wrong and these two statement are 100% true. अगेन आपका ऑप्शन ए, ठीक है? आज आपका ऑप्शंस में कुछ गड़बड़ हुआ है क्या? सारे ऑप्शंस ए की तरफ ही जा रहे हैं, ठीक है? सो ऑप्शन ए आपका, सो दैट इज, so while CRM reduce the credit risk, it may increase other risk आपका, जैसे legal, operational, this and R, because we have to meet the strong control and we have interdependence among all these type of risk and all. Next one, collateralized loan obligations, CLOs, are correct. So collateralized loan obligations, CLOs, are correct. ठीक है? This get asked so many times. So please pay your attention. ध्यान से इसको देखिएगा, सुनिएगा और आपका प्रैक्टिस कीजिएगा. ठीक है? चलो, क्या होगा आंसर गाइस? What will be your right answer? CLO से रिलेटेड आपका which statement is correct? बताओ बताओ, सिर्फ 2 दिन रह गए हैं, अब आप ही के ऊपर है सब कुछ. ठीक है? You have to answer everyone, ठीक है? Everything. So CLO allow bank to remove credit risk from their balance sheet, which can help release regulatory capital. Statement 1 is true. ठीक है? The underlying loan in CLO are generally held up by SPVs, special purpose vehicles, which issue various tranche of debt आपका. ठीक है? So what you say about this particular statement? ठीक है? So this statements आपका, okay, we'll reconsider this statement after with the option. CLOs are always linked to single credit, unlike credit linked notes which involve a diversified pool आपका. This statement is true. ठीक है? The senior most tranche of CLO is consider high quality due to its priority in receiving cash flow and can often withstand significant default आपका. ठीक है? So what will be your correct answer in this particular case guys? क्या होगा आपका करेक्ट आंसर इस केस में आपका? ठीक है? स्टेटमेंट 3, ठीक है? सीनियर मोस्ट are unlike this notes involve the diversified pool. Is this clear or correct? मतलब this should be right आपका. ठीक है? This should be right. CLOs are always linked to a single credit. Okay. Senior most, हाँ, this seems correct आपका. ठीक है? Credit derivative structure may be embedded with the CLO to facilitate the transfer of credit or market risk. The originator of the SPV, this is also correct. तो सारे correct हैं क्या आपका? ठीक है? So CLO allow bank to remove the credit risk. आपका correct है. First statement is 100% true. ठीक है? State underlying loan of CLO are generally held for SPV. This is also correct. Sorry, CLO are always, this should be wrong आपका. Sorry, ठीक है? This should be not always आपका. ठीक है? This should be wrong. The senior most will first come, ठीक है? And this. तो 1 2 4 5, हाँ, again आपका option A will be right answer. What do you suggest guys? Option A or okay? People are saying B and C आपका. ठीक है? This is also correct. It is not always. ठीक है? It should be A only. Yes. So statement 3 is incorrect. The reverse the fact CLO are linked to diverse pool of the credit, unlike these are the other tools आपका. ठीक है? So it is we have basically these particular SPBs and all, they link with the multiple portfolios and all. ठीक है? Rest all statements are correct in this particular case. ठीक है? आगे बढ़ते हैं. Credit derivatives. So, and you have to find out the correct statement. This part is again credit derivatives and the next one is credit default swap under this particular one. That is very important. Yeah, there must be one question around that particular one also. So what will be your correct answer guys? Credit derivative allow bank to transfer credit risk without removing the underlying credit asset from their books आपका. ठीक है? So like credit derivatives like swap आपका. So where we generally transferring the risk without transferring the asset. ठीक है? Credit insurance and letter of credit offer more regulatory benefit and liquidity compared to credit derivative. Credit insurance and letter of credit offer more regulatory benefits and liquidity compared to credit derivatives आपका. ठीक है? There should be as such no comparison between these two. We'll again check this one. Under the physical settlement in the certificate of deposit contract, the credit derivatives contract, the protection buyers deliver the reference asset and receive par value plus accrued interest. True. Credit derivatives are primarily exchange. No, these are OTC product basically. Yeah, this is also wrong. One of the motive for the protection seller in credit derivative contract is to diversify credit risk or engage in arbitrage opportunities. This is also correct. Yeah. Credit insurance and letter of credit offer more regulatory benefits. I guess there is as such no segregation for these particular one. 135. I'll go to 135. That means I'll go with option D. आपका ठीक है? Yes, हाँ, option D must be right answer for this one. So credit insurance and LOCs, letter of credit, are similar but do not offer the same flexibility, liquidity or regulatory advantages as your credit derivatives. Fourth one is आपका, this was very simple. It is a OTC instrument, not the exchange traded. Credit default swap. Next question is around the CDS. ठीक है, credit default swap. This get asked so many times. ठीक है, बहुत बार आपको इसके अराउंड आपका क्वेश्चन देखने के लिए मिलेंगे, तो ध्यान रखिएगा. क्रेडिट डिफॉल्ट स्वैप आपका ठीक है. सो क्रेडिट डिफॉल्ट स्वैप. So a credit default swap involve protection buyer paying a periodic premium to protection seller in exchange for protection against a credit event on a reference obligation. ठीक है, let's say we have given loan to some customers. ठीक है, तो उस लोन का काइंड ऑफ इंश्योरेंस आपका इंश्योरेंस की तरह काम कर रहा होता है. एंड जो प्रोटेक्शन सेलर है सम अदर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन और इंश्योरेंस कंपनी काइंड ऑफ, ठीक है, जिसको हम आपका रेगुलर प्रीमियम पे करें. एंड दे आर मेकिंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ कमिटमेंट्स or there is an agreement कि if that buyer default, so they'll pay the remaining or the outstanding balance. ठीक है, so statement one is correct. Credit defaults, cash settlements in credit default swap transaction is based on calculation of reference obligation pre-default market value by an external auditors. No, this is wrong na. So it should be आपका the market value plus the other losses which generally comes under this particular one. This should not be right answer for this one. Again, small finance bank and regional rural banks, they are not part. They cannot issue credit default swap offer. Only commercial bank excluding these two. Again, RRBs and small finance bank, they are not eligible to issue the credit default swap. Credit default swap can be written on unrated INR corporate bonds issued by special purpose vehicles set up by the infrastructure companies, mutual fund regulated by SEBI, and resident companies with a net worth of 500 crores and more are eligible for this particular one. Okay? So 145 means option A should be right answer for this one. So cash settlement, the post default market value of the reference obligation is determined by the calculation agent, not pre-default आपका, first of all, not by an external auditors. ठीक है. Second one आपका scheduled commercial bank excluding small finance bank and payment banks, local area banks and RRBs are eligible as market makers. So scheduled finance banks, आपका scheduled commercial bank, आपका small finance bank and RRBs are ineligible or not eligible for this particular one. Correct है? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Okay, please go through this particular one. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा बड़ा है but very important, very important. तो ध्यान से पढ़िए सब लोग. So bank X, a major financial institution, is reviewing its risk management and investment strategies using derivative product. The bank is evaluating whether to hedge or transfer exposure related to pool of amortizing fixed rate corporate loans worth rupees 500 crores. The bank is considering using either a total return swap, which is TRS, or the credit link notes for a different part of the portfolio. Which of the following statements correct regarding the bank X uses of TRS and CLN structures? So TRS and CLN. So total return swap आपका basically it is generally on the portfolios. Let's say we have a portfolio of equity, ठीक है, तो या गोल्ड आपका, तो उसका जो मार्केट रिटर्न है उसको दैट फ्लोटिंग, दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन द फ्लोटिंग वन. वी आर एंटरिंग इनटू अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ TRS जहां पे वी आर मेकिंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ कमिटमेंट्स की दो पार्टीज आपका बेसिकली कि जो मार्केट रिटर्न होगा दैट बिलोंग्स टू द वन पार्टी एंड जो कहीं ना कहीं देखो मार्केट रिटर्न्स आर सब्जेक्ट टू डिमांड इन सप्लाई फैक्टर्स, ठीक है। तो जो ओनर है आपका उस एसेट का, लेट्स से यू ओन 100 kg गोल्ड्स इन योर proprietary पोजीशन, someone else is saying कि we will pay you 15% fixed rate of return for next 10 years। तो यहाँ पे प्रिंसिपल गेट कवर्ड, आपका बेसिकली द रिटर्न गॉट कवर्ड, आपका यू विल रिसीव अ फिक्स रेट ऑफ रिटर्न बट देयर इज नो गारंटी फॉर द प्रिंसिपल। अगर उसकी वैल्यू कम होती है तो प्रोटेक्शन सेलर विल नॉट पे एनी इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस, ठीक है। सो नाउ वी हैव गिवन सो मेनी स्टेटमेंट्स आपका, ठीक है। So first four statements आपका, for the first 300 crore of asset, bank acts as looking to has both credit risk and market risk, but want to avoid shifting the asset of its balance sheet. They want to maintain those particular in their own balance sheet. The asset have features such as regular amortization, potential repayments, and fixed interest. For the remaining 200 crores, the bank want to free up a credit line and distribute credit risks to a broader investor base. It preferred a structure that can be treated in capital market and wish to retain the fundings. The TRS offer involve a premium calculated as ARR, alternative rate of returns, 200 plus to ARR plus 200 basis point. Then during the swap tenures, the reference bonds price increased by 2%, while the total interest flow equal to rupees 12 crores. Meanwhile, the CLN structure, the issuer is highly rated entity. Credit events occur in the embedded reference obligations during the notes life, CLN's life, triggering partial redemption linked to a asset value. So these are the statements taken now. The other part आपका, ठीक है, the total return swap is suitable for 300 crore tranche as it has both credit and market risk and is ideal for amortizing the repayable asset आपका. So what you say about the first statement? ठीक है, first statements आपका correct है, कोई issue नहीं है इसमें, ठीक है। The premium in TRS paid by the protection buyer will include both interest flow and capital appreciation of the underlying asset during the tenures. This also is correct here. The CLN used for 200 crore tranche, the investor bear the dual risk of the CLN issuers and the reference obligation embedded in the derivatives also. This is also correct here. TRS help Bank X shift the loan exposure of its balance sheet while the retaining principal protection. No, there is no principal protection in case of TRS आपका total return swap. This is wrong, आपका statement 4 is wrong. Credit linked note convert credit derivative into capital market instruments, making them accessible to wider investor base and more liquid. True. In case of the credit event in the CLN, the issuer continue to pay the full face value of the note regardless of the reference obligation value. It is linked with the reference obligation value. So this statement is also wrong here. TRS and CDS both protect against market risk, but only TRS protect against the prepayment risk and all. TRS and CDS both protect against the market risk, but only TRS protect against prepayment risk. आपका this is also correct. ठीक है, तो what should be a right answer? 1 2 3 5 7. Do we have this option in this one? ठीक है, क्या होगा correct answer आपका? यही होगा ना? तो क्या होना चाहिए आपका? Do we have this option? 1 2 sorry 2 is wrong आपका. 2 statement is correct or wrong? Statement 2 seems correct here. 1 2 3 1 2 3, then we have 5 7. C should be right answer for this one. I'll go with option C. What do you suggest, guys? 1 2, premium of TRS protection bias will include both interest flow and capital appreciation. Protection buyer will include both interest flow, that is true, capital appreciation of underlying asset. That is also, that should be part. Okay, anyone who want to answer this one? A, B. Okay, we'll check this particular one. Okay, some the right answer is B आपका, ठीक है. Okay, first we'll go through these pointers. Statement 2, I just want to check. Statement 2 is mentioned correct here. The TRS premium include interest flow plus price changes, capital appreciation or depreciation. This is also correct. Statement 2 is also correct, guys. Okay? C is the right answer. C will be the right answer. We have to correct this particular one. C should be right answer. The statement 4, TRS typically off balance sheet, but it does not protect the principal. This is true. आपका ठीक है. Then sixth statement आपका incorrect. It in a credit event, CLN are redeemed at a reduced value linked to the impaired references obligations. This is also correct. ठीक है. So C is the correct answer for this particular one. थोड़ा सा बड़ा था, but please go through those particular statement again. You will get this particular PDF. तो वहां से एक बार थोड़ा सा इनको रिवाइज कीजिएगा और कोशिश करें समझने की आपका. ठीक है.